Welcome to J.R. Hendrick Texan Consult, the story of my early life. Now, reporting it, this episode is called Fare Thee Well. It's Jimi Hendrick. The 21st of February passed quietly. At 2 p.m. Central on the 22nd, J.R. is in his room studying his government and geology textbooks. He had decided to skip geology class today because, walking outside the Center for Public Affairs, he was accosted by Brad, telling Brad that he would be at the Bible study Thursday night. But he says that he will have Darren take him there instead. Now back in the dorm room, he is talking to Kevin McDonald. Man, just ignore Brad, GR. Seriously, I think he wounds more than he helps, Kevin said. I skipped geology today because I wanted to have a Bible study with my Aunt Donna at the sociology department, Jared said. Brad's a nuisance for himself and others. Ditch him. 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Jimmy is sitting down in Great Falls, Washington, D.C., at the house of Andrew and Margaret House. Blake had lunch with Clinton. Sadly, I think. Blake had lunch with Clinton. Sadly, I think Clinton has a few choice words about him, Andrew House said. Of course, anybody who's a libertarian or conservative Democrat he has a problem with. Probably had some language about me, but I don't really care, Jim said. We'll have a wonderful dinner tonight. And then maybe I thought we might go to the Pages Club, which is right behind Greg Sanders' house. I know Clinton hates it when we throw parties at Sanders' house. Who needs him? Margaret asked, cutting off the conversation. 5 p.m. Central. The Blake Carter Show is on, and JR and Brent are having burritos from the snack bar at Sneed. Blake Carter makes this pronouncement. It is clear to me that anyone who speaks critical of President Bill Clinton or Vice President Al Gore, the president himself labels them as bitter. Tell me something. Is Bob Fisk finding anything else about Whitewater? Those Clintons are corrupt. 4:30 a.m. the 23rd. Jared wakes up in his room, puts on his headphones, and listens to the radio. The Andrew House Minute is on. The owner of the Indians wants to name their baseball field after himself. I have to believe that is pretty conceited. Not to mention how conceited the Clintons and Webster Hubble are being about the whole Whitewater debacle. Yesterday, his mother called, Gerald's mother called, to remind him of his appointment Friday at the Mayo Clinic in Phoenix. Betsy would fly in very early that morning, and the jet would pick up JR at the airport for the 1 hour 40-minute flight. They would leave at 6:20 a.m. and be in Phoenix at 7 a.m. Mountain Time. Betsy would take JR to breakfast before his 9 a.m. appointment with Dr. Lowell for more tests. 5:50 a.m. JR is in the Gordon Hall's living room studying for Spanish as well as business and professional speech class. His next presentation would be March 2nd, talking about the business industry he would like to go into, public affairs. 7 a.m. Eastern. In Washington, D.C., Jim's servants bring in his breakfast: waffles, bacon, and coffee, black. Tomorrow, he would be having French toast and invite Andrew House for breakfast. He agreed to have an early brunch with him at 11 today, before House went on the air at his studio in downtown Washington, D.C. 7 a.m. Central. At Crockett House Dining Hall, JR is having a waffle breakfast with Cousin Joe and Andrew Shelford. Well, I have been accepted to Royal Christian University at Royal Fork, Virginia. Dad told them I wanted to study journalism with an eye towards public affairs, Andrew said. Well, JR, I talked to your dad, and I've agreed to delay law school until 1995. I'm going to work a whole year as his speechwriter. You do not mind? JR asked. Well, he's coming to mind at Andy's graduation. So my thinking is in June, we can go on the same plane together. I even heard Daddy say when we start our internship. 9 a.m. Central. JR is in business and professional speech class, where Professor Diedrich is talking about interviewing skills for the interviewer and the interviewee. 9:50 a.m. Outside the Center for Public Affairs, JR stopped Jennifer. Hey, I have to go to the Mayo Clinic Friday to see the doctors. Can you take notes for me? JR asked. Sure. Just drop your tape recorder with the library on Thursday, and I'll swing by to pick it up, Jennifer says. Now let's hop a bus to Spanish class. 11 a.m. Eastern. As JR is in Spanish class, back in Texas, in Washington, D.C., Great Falls, Jim arrives back at the mansion. He goes all into the indoor swimming pool, which obviously has windows to show outside. A male servant brings him a cup of coffee and pipes in a Paul Anka song called Put Your Head on My Shoulder. 11 a.m. Central. JR is going swimming alone at the sibling. At 12:30, he would pick up Jennifer and take her to lunch. Red Lobster is the place they would be going, and JR is buying. 12 p.m. Eastern. Meanwhile, in his home office in Great Falls, Jim is listening to the Andrew House Show. Whitewater and the Balanced Budget Amendment have the White House and President Clinton in hot water. Move against political tiddlywinks is pretty high here among the American public. Yeah, Bill Clinton and tiddlywinks, Jim said, guffawing. 12:30 p.m. Central. At Red Lobster, JR and Jennifer ordered 2 shrimp Alfredo platters, along with 2 Dr. Peppers. They sat and talked for a while, and it seemed as if they were falling in love. 2 p.m. Central. In MassCom 101, the top lecture hall at Texas Tech, the PRSSA meeting is in full swing. It's Mass Communications Week, and Professor Diedrich, as well as Professor Dr. Wow, is asking for students to attend at least 1 or 2 sessions in MassCom Week. Speaking for the event is Kenneth Cajigan, speechwriter and consultant for President Reagan. 3 p.m. Central. JR is in his room studying for a petroleum geology class tomorrow, giving double duty for the class that he skipped on Tuesday. The rest of the day passed without incident, except JR did have a dinner with Jennifer Bowers at Sneed Hall. December 24th, 4 p.m. JR is in his room at Gordon Hall when the door opens and he discovers his mother. "Mama!" He rushes over to hug her. "I've sure missed you. Why don't you come over to the ranch next weekend? Your daddy is going to be there, and you can have whatever party you want," Betsy said. And Kevin McDonald, he's requested, I believe, the absence from his professors, so he can go with us to the Mayo Clinic tomorrow. The plane leaves at 6:20. And I've asked him to take you to the airport so you can join me. Who's flying us? Rod? I wish. Your daddy heard that I wanted Kevin McDonald to come along, so long as he's chartered a jet for us. It'll be at your granddad's personal hangar at Lubbock International Airport. They'll be expecting you at the gate. I was going to go to the Bible study with Brad tonight, but now, I don't know. You can forget the Bible study, honey. I'm taking you out to dinner. "5 p.m. Now, meanwhile, in Dallas, Jim is being interviewed for the Blake Carter Show. Is it true that your feelings are that President Clinton is not doing enough for the small businesses? Small businesses? Blake Carter asked. "I can't assess the situation yet until I have taken the oath of office and have spent 2 weeks analyzing things